Turn our attention now to the PIC inquiry, the ongoing drama there. Former Public Investment Corporation CEO Dan Matjila has been testifying at the inquiry about alleged impropriety at the asset manager. Now, he'll be back in the hot seat for a 10th day today. Heidi Giokos following that one very closely for us. So quite a long stint for Dan Matjila. Heidi, morning. And yesterday already he spoke about some staff matters, his leadership skills, what he thought were the right things to do, and that people had no problem.
Exactly. So I think to start off with was that Dan Matjila has been heavily implicated throughout this commission of inquiry. People have called him militant. People have called him a ruler, not a leader. People have questioned his leadership skills and his role as a CEO because he was so demanding and he was just, very forceful in the way in which he did things at the PIC. And of course the Commission of Inquiry needs to ask him about all these allegations and about his role as a CEO, given the fact that he was the CEO of the PIC for over 4 years. But he says that under his leadership the PIC has been most successful. He says he has been very firm in his leadership skills, but he's also been very fair. He explains to the Commission of Inquiry that he doesn't understand why people and why staff have described him as militant and very just a ruler, because he's never been that way. He says he's always been a leader and he's always had an open door policy. I mean, he's been accused of a number of things. He's also been accused of victimizing people when they come out and say, look, we have a challenge in this department, or we have a challenge with this and that. And he says that he's always had an open door policy, and that after a climate survey was done in 2017, he decided to have breakfast with certain individuals within the PIC so that he can create a very comfortable relationship so that communication can always be open. But this is obviously contrary to what we've been hearing from witnesses, because everybody's explained him as a very bad CEO and a CEO that just doesn't want to listen to its staff members.
Delusions of grandeur, perhaps, I don't know, of his own. Okay, well, the big one that's been the talking point of this inquiry is the AO Technology independent media transaction, that deal as well. Now, he's just started to explain that, only just begun. What's he said so far?
So he's going to get into the finer details of the AO Technology Solutions transaction, but one must remember that the PIC is very involved in the Sekunjalo group. It's got to do with Premier Fishing, AO Technology, independent media, and Sagamata, which didn't end up happening. But what was interesting about when he started yesterday was how he explained that there were about over 20 bidders to get investment from the PIC. He even said that the Guptas were very forceful and they wanted the PIC to invest into the new age, but eventually independent media succeeded, and they got an 800 million rand loan from the PIC to basically buy independent media. But what was interesting was that independent media was struggling to pay off its loan, so struggling to pay off its debt, and they made a proposition that in order for them to pay their debt, they wanted to swap their debts with shares with Sagamata. And Sagamata was a company that hadn't even been listed on the JSE as yet, and the valuation wasn't even determined yet. And of course valuation is very important, because if you have debt that's over R1 billion and the shares in Sagamata aren't even worth that, then it's not worth it for the PIC to even invest in
and
that.
Why would you?
Swap.
Yes.
Exactly, and why would you swap debt for shares in a company that's not even established yet? So, of course, the Commission probing him on that and saying, did you even think that that was something that you should have even considered or even listened to, given the fact that it didn't make financial sense, it didn't make investment sense. But at the end of the day, that didn't happen because Sagamata was not able to list on the JSE. So he's going to go into finer detail about AO today, which is a very controversial deal where the PIC invested over 4 billion rand into that company.
Okay, well, we'll hear more from him. Thank you very much. We'll let you head on over to the inquiry, Heidi Giokos, following the PIC inquiry there.